All right, so here's the article that I don't know how many of you have read. It was released on August 31st from a very resourceful company called Forbes. I'm sure many of you know what Forbes is. If you don't know what the Forbes is, I'm not going to sit here and educate you about the business, about the real estate, about the wealthy business owners and what the Forbes stands for. It's about the business. It's marketing, business, kind of like Bloomberg channel. It's what it is. It deals with the marketing and business. So anyway, but for the rich, wealthy people. All right. So here's something that we need to talk about. Many of you have been asking me about Xbox One S upscaling, and some of you think that your TV does better upscaling. Granted, sure, there's some TVs out there, $3,000, $4,000, that upscale a little bit better, but I have yet to see a demo on YouTube or anywhere where people compare it like I did. Why is it so hard for people to make a comparison? Let's see it. If there's a TV out there that does a better job, let's see that. Let's see the evidence presented before the judge and the jury. Let's see that shit. Let's not just talk hearsay. But let me read this article for you. And remember, I'm not doing this article trying to be a smart ass. That's not the reason why I'm doing this. I'm just doing this for educational, factual purposes. This is done by John Archer. He wrote this article on August 31st before the release of the console, Xbox One S. And he tested the console. He did a lot of research on the console. And this is what he said. This is John Archer. And we're going to go read through this. Okay? We're going to go through it. I'm going to use my big giant fingers right here. And we're going to go through it. All right? Here it is. I'm going to read this for you. Considering how significant the Xbox One S is, it was launched with remarkably little pomp and ceremony by a seemingly low on confidence Microsoft. What he's saying there is this console kind of came in like, oh, here it is, and have fun. Microsoft didn't advertise it as much. They didn't boost it up too much. They didn't hooray it so much. They just kind of like, let's see how people react. Let's not over-glamorize our console. Let's just put it out there in the market. And I think this is a good approach that Phil Spencer took. You'd be surprised how much Phil Spencer learned from that 2013 booing. Remember when he got booed and he said $600 for a Kinect console with Xbox One? He learned from that. Okay? Let's read some more. Some may argue this is not a bad thing, given the marketing disaster that accompanied the launch of the original Xbox One, what I just said. But to me, launching the S so quietly seems to have compounded the mistake Microsoft made of unveiling it alongside significantly more powerful Project Scorpio console, leaving it feeling like an almost apologetic release, something just rushed out to tide the market until Scorpio rolls into town at the end of 2070. Granted, what he's saying here is what Microsoft is saying, okay, here's our apology. This is the console we should have released on 2013, and we apologize for that. So here's something as an apology till Scorpio rolls out. This is pretty much the mindset thinking of Phil Spencer. I guarantee you that's how he thinks. So that's why he didn't boost it up. That's why he didn't, glorify it. Oh, you got to get this console and this and that. It was basically, here's an apology. We'll cut the price. We'll make it really cheap. $300. You'll have a 4K capabilities, upscale, 1 terabyte, and you're going to have 4K UHD Blu-ray player. All of that for $300. Granted, $350 is the 1 terabyte version. 500 gigabyte is the $300 version, but still, you guys catch my drift. They cut the price on this thing really good. Okay, let's continue. And remember, I'm reading the article. I'm just telling you and giving my thoughts on it to what I'm reading. All right, there's the console right there. This is a real shame because having lived with one for a few weeks now, and despite previous skepticism about the original Xbox One, I consider the Xbox One S to be a truly exciting, forward-facing bit of a kit. One that significantly improves the gaming experience. Of course, it does improve the experience, as I have shown on dozens of my videos that I have. And by no means am I an Xbox fanboy. You guys seen, all of you have seen that I have a PC, that I have Nintendo V, that I have a PlayStation 4, that I have NVIDIA Shield, that I have Ouya. I mean, by no means am I a fanboy, all right? Just want to keep that out there in case some of you who are watching this and it's your first time watching my video, so I want to put that out there. All right, let's continue. One that significantly improves the gaming experience, brings consoles up to speed with TVs, opens up a potential significant new market for Microsoft consoles, represents possibly the biggest bargain in console history, and marks the point at which our understanding of game consoles changed forever. There is another interesting point. What he's saying basically here is that this is a great bargain for a console, but it shows you how console market has changed. We see a bunch of different consoles coming out now within 2-3 years. Now you can forget about 10-year span of a console. I think that's down in the water. What we're having right now, it's something similar to having a phone contract. I think we're going to get to the point with the consoles where you're going to have a kind of like a 2-year lease contract or 3-year or 4-year, whatever, lease contract with a console, because you're not going to be able to keep up. Because as soon as you buy a console, 2-3 years, another one coming out and another one. And I think that's where the market might be headed. Because it doesn't, honestly, unless you want to collect the console, unless you want to collect it, and you're a collector, that's a different story. But I think that's where we're headed. We're heading down the same way, same route as the smartphones. Be a 2-year contract, and once you pay it off, it's yours, and da-da-da-da-da. That's how I feel. Well, let's continue down a little bit more. Hold on a second. Here we go. Use my big giant. Look at how big giant my fingers are, man. Like gigantic. Look at these fists. Look at that. All right. These mitts, actually. Let's continue. I don't know why I showed you my mitts, but anyway, whatever. The Xbox One S makes more difference to gaming than people are giving it credit for. This is what I was trying to tell people. And I'm not saying this because this guy's saying it because he works for Forbes. I'm saying this because I had Xbox One S now, and I still have it. Well, that was the wrong way of saying it. I still have Xbox One S, and I had it for 3 weeks now. And I played dozens of games. I tested dozens of games. I test the shit out of that console. So I can clearly agree with what he's saying here. The Xbox One S is much more than just a games console. That I can imagine some, maybe even many of the people who buy it, treating its gaming abilities as an added bonus rather than its main attraction. It is, though, still rightly positioned first and foremost as a games machine. So let's start off by looking at the 2 ways in which the Xbox One S genuinely transforms the gaming experience rather than just delivering the tiny performance gains I've seen discussed elsewhere. First, there's its 4K upscaling, its ability to convert Xbox One games to 4K Ultra HD before outputting them to 4K UHD television. Okay, let's read this sentence again. First, there's its 4K upscaling. 4K upscaling, its ability to convert Xbox One games to 4K Ultra HD before outputting them to a 4K UHD television. Right there, you're getting a huge benefit. So the question is this, like he said, why would you play on your old Xbox One 2013 version if you have a 4K TV when you can simply upgrade this for $300 and have this console. And this is just one of the features that's cool about Xbox One S. All of your existing games will be upscaled to 4K. Hell, even your PlayStation 4 games, you can upscale them, which I did show. Not to mention Netflix streaming, bunch of all of the other apps in the future that'll be available for 4K streaming. Right now, there's only two, Netflix and Amazon Prime. But you have that ability too. And if that's not enough, if 4K streaming is not enough, you also get a 4K USB Blu-ray player. But let's get to the important part right here on this article. Upscaling has become something of a dirty word in audio, video, and gaming circles over the years, with many coming to believe with some justification that using processing to convert lower resolution sources to high resolution can actually reduce overall picture quality rather than improve it. I agree with this too. Granted, there's going to be some games like Perfect Dark Zero, Rainbow Six, 1 and 2 Vegas. Doesn't matter how good of your upscaling is, nothing will change the fact that game it's outdated and old and supports 720p and looks like shit, okay? Nothing will help that. But when you look at games like Forza 3, huge benefit you're getting. So this is mainly depending on the developer and the content that you're upscaling. You know what I mean? Why does Forza games look good? Because they're developed with true native 1080p 60. Okay, Forza 6 is 1080p 60. Forza Horizon 3, it's 30 frames per second, 1080p. But that 1080p native clarity helps double the images 4 times and give you a much better upscale to a near 4K upscale. Now, it's not true native, but it's almost there. So let's continue. It also has been argued persuasively elsewhere in Forbes that the Xbox One S 4K upscaling doesn't make much sense from a gaming perspective, given that 4K TVs can upscale from HD too. Okay, we all know that. But the Xbox One S, though, tramples unceremoniously all over these arguments by delivering quite simply one of the finest upscaling performance I've seen. Okay, let's read this one more time. The Xbox One S, though, tramples unceremoniously all over these arguments by delivering quite simply one of the finest upscaling performances I have seen, or I've seen. So right there, he just told you what I've been telling you guys. That Xbox One S upscales better than your TVs. And this is coming from somebody from Forbes. From someone that actually tested TVs, all different brands, everything. That's what these journalists do, man. They go to Samsung. They go to Sony. They go here. They go there. They test the shit out of everything. And then they write an article based on what they researched. Now, you don't have to believe them, but there it is. It's not just me telling you this. I actually do a demo, and I show it to you like I did with Uncharted 4 as to why the upscaling, it's better on the Xbox One S. But let's continue. My years of experience in the audio-video world have taught me that getting good quality source equipment to upscale resolution rather than leaving it to a screen often yields superior results. Okay, let's read this one more time. My years of experience in audio-video world have taught me that getting good quality source equipment to upscale resolution rather than leaving it to a screen often yields superior results. What was I saying in past 2-3 weeks? What was I telling Hard 8 and all the other ones. Yes, I understand your TV can upscale. I get it. I understand all of that. But external devices do a better job rendering that canvas, that resolution, okay? Instead of your built-in TV upscaler. Everything that's coming externally will do a better job because TV is not putting too much bottleneck by doing it by himself.